Welcome to the Tech Connect podcast powered by PDi. This will be an ongoing series of informative information regarding technology and improvements in our industry. We'll be airing sessions the first Thursday of every month. Welcome to the Tech Connect podcast powered by PDi. Today we're in our second episode in our series on IPTV. I've got Bill Fisher, Pro Services Installer, with us here today. When he's not playing music, he's traveling in a field doing installations for us. So welcome, Bill.
Hello.
One of the things that keeps coming up to us is the confusion around IPTV, what customers think it is. Your time in the field, can you help us understand, what some of the confusion is around IPTV? What do people inappropriately think IPTV is, and how can we help them understand it better?
Yeah, a lot of people think that IPTV is your Netflix and various other stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's just your normal television system or signal. It's just delivered over an Ethernet cable rather than coax. So then but you have the advantages of a lot of control that are off-site with that. With coax, if you change anything, you've got to do it right there at the facility, and you can change things for the IPTV remotely with the computer, somebody sitting wherever. So it's handy to be able to adjust things and change things that way.
So what can they adjust and change? So if I'm an administrator or I'm somebody in the IT field or IP department in the facility, what can I change in my system remotely?
Pretty much everything. You can change your entire channel lineup so that anything where it was, you have this channel before this one, but you want to change the order of the channels, you can do that. You can put it in groups of channels. This is your entertainment, especially because we deal in medical stuff. There's always medical information they're trying to push out to the patients to make certain they know what's going on with what they're doing.
So I don't have to go to the room to do this. I don't have to touch TV or remote control or thumb drive or anything.
Yeah, just
sitting
decide
at a desk.
figure out
Great.
what you want and talk with us, and we'll get it arranged and get it into your system.
When you're doing installations in the field, I'm sure power comes up, whether it be on an arm-mounted solution and how do I get power out to the individual sets, or what can I do with the Cat5 cables to power my TVs. So can we dive into that a little bit?
Sure. There's it's coming out and starting to be installed in the world. It's called PoE, which is Power over Ethernet.
Okay.
And you can then power the television over an Ethernet cable rather than have it, especially with our arm-mounted sets, you don't have to have the coax there for the low voltage to run the TV. You can just use the PoE cable or your Ethernet cable.
So you mentioned an Ethernet cable. Can it be the same cable? Can you do both this signal and this power on one line?
That's the nice part, yes.
All right.
So you don't have to have two things there. You just got one cable to deal with. Makes it certainly simpler to maintain.
All right. How's the power getting onto this Cat cable? Where is this power supply housed?
Back in your IT rack.
Okay.
So it's back where people can't mess with it, which is important because everybody messes with stuff.
Sure.
So you can keep that, secured with your IT equipment, and then you're just powering the set over your Ethernet cable.
What sort of distance are we getting out of this power from the rack?
Getting 300 plus feet in that range for
Okay.
the PoE stuff, and then after that you're going to have new power supply to increase the range if you're going further than that.
So you could daisy chain these power supplies to get 500 or 600 feet down?
I'm sure you can.
If you could. Okay. Advantages over installing a 32-inch TV, let's say. Today you'd have to have an AC receptacle behind there to plug the device in. It's a healthcare grade receptacle and a healthcare grade power cord. You can eliminate all that. You don't need an electrician in to put those receptacles in any longer?
You're still going to need the power, at least for the larger sets, for the time being. Eventually, I'm sure they'll change that.
Okay.
But currently, you still need the AC power to run that. And it's just the amount of electricity that the larger screen requires.
Gotcha.
So that it can produce the light so you can see it.
My confusion. So power over Ethernet today really is on the arm-mounted solution. So it's replacing the power over coax in those versions.
Yeah, because with our power over coax, you are restricted to 150 feet from the power supply, which can be mounted in a closet, but you've got 150 feet. With the PoE, you've got 300, which is twice the distance.
So you mentioned people not having the ability to mess with things at the chair side or the bedside. So today there's an individual power supply that they may put there. That needs a AC receptacle by an electrician. It needs to be a healthcare grade plug. But if you're using this central PoE, you would not need any other power source.
You just have your
chair.
Ethernet plug there.
Correct.
And your wall mount,
Alright.
especially for the wall mount sets.
Wonderful.
Or I mean the arm mounted TVs. You just have your plug right there at the base of the arm and plug that in. If you've got like a dialysis center, they'll already have the coax installed. What would they need then? Well, just the Ethernet cable.
So will IPTV be replacing any of the interface type solutions where you're remotely or from the TV controlling a set-top box from DirecTV or a receiver from?
I could see it doing that because there's a lot of confusion that happens with the set-top box that's mounted in a closet far away from everything. People don't understand how it works. But if you've got the IPTV, because especially if you've already got the interface system, you actually already have all the Cat 6 or Cat 6 or Cat 5 cable already run. So switching over is nothing more than adding a piece in the head-end unit and taking 28 DirecTV boxes out of your closet.
So you're removing them from a head end. You're
creating a new
getting
head-end,
rid of them.
but you're the dialysis centers especially will have a separate set-top box for each television, and we have an interface system that runs that. But if there's any sort of problem, it's very clumsy for people that are there in the field that don't deal with this every day to understand. And we help them through, but it's still tricky. And
so you're eliminating that. You're eliminating the receivers. You're making space practically from where the receivers were, if that's no longer needed, and putting in a much smaller IPTV solution in the
and
rack.
we can do that. And it's then if they've got a problem, it's not talking to us on the phone where we're helping you through, which we certainly will do. But you're able to give us a call and say, I got this problem. We're able to look then on a computer and see what's going on and make the changes and pretty much free up the staff, the medical staff, to be medical staff rather than IT people.
So we can remotely log into their system, assist them, make changes, move channels around without any involvement on their end at all.
Right, and not having to go in there, not having more people in their facility.
Awesome. So Bill, once a facility has decided to go IPTV, what benefits can they get individually within their center with customization to the channel lineups?
Well, you can customize it so that the maternity ward's getting stuff about babies and caring for your newborn, and you've got the heart patients over here. You want them to have information about that, but they don't need the baby stuff. And you can do that then on down the line with the various units like dialysis centers and rehab, so that you're targeting what they're seeing.
You can customize our content to each area.
Yeah, so, and that way, which is something we're already able to do somewhat with our Genius system.
Okay. So being an internet-based solution, is there any hardware needed in additional to control this, or what really goes into putting it out there?
Well, if you're doing a customization like that, you've already got the system there, and it's just about tweaking it for your particular likes.
Okay. So no servers on site, no additional hardware
Just
needed.
what you've already got. If you're running IPTV, you've already got it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Bill, thank you for your time today. We really appreciate the viewpoint of a servicer and installer in the field, and giving us your feedback and information.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on Tech Connect.